Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today is Commodore 64 time again, as you can clearly see. What I got asked recently on Twitter was how I managed to copy disks, virtual disks, or D64 files that you would use in a Commodore 64 emulator to a real disk with one of my floppy drives here. You have seen both of these drives in videos I will link in the corner there, because I like things to be interconnected. The one I repaired, the old 1541 on the bottom, and the one on the top there is the newer 1541-2, which I refurbished, so to say. I replaced some capacitors and cleaned it and lubricated it. Both of these drives work, and what I also have in my Commodore 64 is an SD2IEC. This here is the SD2IEC, or a SD2IEC adapter, which is basically a floppy drive simulator that can load stuff from an SD card. And many of you guys I know who are using the Commodore 64 today have one of these, or some kind of... There are some other versions for other memory card formats, basically the MM2IEC and stuff like that, and they basically all have the same firmware, so what I'm about to show in this video should work on them too. So what I'm about to show you is how to get stuff from real disks to the SD2IEC, or an equivalent adapter, and the other way around, how to get virtual disk files from the SD2IEC to a real floppy disk, which is very convenient, I found, because with the SD2IEC and stuff like that, you tend to have a lot of stuff in one place and directories that are gigantic. You basically have on a 1 gigabyte SD card, you basically can have all the software that was ever written or ever published for the Commodore 64. So it's quite a lot, and it gets a bit too much sometimes. So it's really convenient to have some floppies with your favorite stuff on there and to just load them from a real floppy drive, which also adds a lot to the nostalgic feelings, of course. Yeah. So the first thing you want to do, and excuse the shaky cam at the moment, but I basically want to show you this in detail, so I had to take this into my hand. You have to plug in the SD2IEC, and you have to plug in one of the floppy drives at the same time, of course, if you want to copy stuff across there. So in my case, my SD2IEC has a little IC socket here where you can just put the cable and then go to the floppy drive. In most other cases, your SD2IEC will maybe have a longer cable, and it's better to connect it to the port on the floppy here. There are two IEC ports, and it doesn't matter which one you connect it. Also on the 1541-2, as you can see here. So there are, it doesn't matter. You connect one cable to the Commodore 64, and you connect one to the SD2IEC or to the floppy drive. It really doesn't matter which one is which, because they are all the same connector. Basically, they are all connected together. What you also have to do in order to use two or more devices at a time on the IEC serial port bus, you need to assign numbers to them. You need to assign different numbers. Normally on the Commodore 64, the floppy drive has the number 8. which is what the old 1541 is set to from factory. The new one has a little dip switch on the back where you can set the number. And my SD2IEC also has a little dip switch where you can set the number, but I'm aware of the fact that most SD2IECs don't have that. There is a way to set that in software. So what I'm going to do is to use my 1541. The old one is the one we're going to use as an example because it's more difficult with this one because you don't have the possibility to set it to another device number. So we're going to use that. That is the number 8, the device number 8. So what we want to do is to set our SD2IEC, which is also number 8 from factory, to number 9. So we can copy things across and use both devices at a time. At the same time, that is. Okay, so we are trying to change the address of the SD2IEC at first. The SD2IEC in standard configuration is the device number 8, because usually you would use only the SD2IEC in a usual setting to replace a floppy drive, a real disk drive. So what we are going to do is to open a channel to the floppy drive by saying open. This is basic. And this is the device number you want. And 15 is basically, it's a code, the channel that is opened basically. So we are opening channel 15 to device 8. So now the channel is open, and now we can print commands. So we just print the command that we want to change the drive's address. So let's see, I'm not very firm with the keyboard. So this is basically the command. We are sending the number 9 as a code, character number 9, and the command to change the drive's address to that. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we changed the drive's address to number 9. Now we can close the channel 15 that we opened. And now the SD2IEC should be number 9. The real floppy is turned off all the while, otherwise you would have changed the real floppies. So let's see if the number 8 is still there. We're trying to load the directory here. No, the device is not present. So let's see, number 9 is present. And as you can see, it now reacts to number 9. So what we're going to do now is to turn on the real disk drive, and we are going to load a little program for the Commodore 64 that I find really convenient. It's the best one for this purpose that I found, which is called DRA copy or DRA copy. I don't know how the programmer is pronouncing it himself. I will link in the program in the description, in the video description, so you can download it yourself. There's also a Commodore software database link, I think. So we'll link in that too. Yeah, I already copied DRA copy or DRA copy on my SD. So I can load it now by load DC, and that's what I called it, comma 9. So this is a stock Commodore 64, so no fast loader. Takes a while, even from SD2IEC. Then we can run the program with run. I love BASIC. And after a short while, it says could not open directory on the top there, because that's the directory of the device number 8, as you can see there. And down there is my SD card. So that's device number 9. And basically you have all the commands listed here with the keys. F1 is directory, so if you press F1, this has no directory because I didn't turn the driver on. And what we are particularly interested in today is the disk copy command, because that's, basically a disk copy command that works on SD2IEC devices, which is exactly what we want, right? So, okay, let's turn on the real 1541 and I'll show you how to copy stuff. So what we of course are going to need is a disk, or some disks. And as it so happens, I have acquired quite some disks recently. So let's see, this is an empty one. Let's turn on the drive. I said that, but I didn't do it. It still works, by the way. So let's insert an empty disk. And okay, here we are in draw copy. You basically can switch between the two directory. This is like Windows. It's like a very modern data browser, so to say. You have two different windows for the different directories and can switch between them by pressing the left arrow on the top left position on the Commodore 64 keyboard. So now we are in the lower directory. Now we are in the upper, and as you can see on the right there, I can press F1 to show the directory. And now the drive loads the directory, maybe. So, there we are. It's called test disk. So we can also switch the devices with pressing Shift F1, which is F2. So we want, if you have more devices, you can also connect more devices there. It's absolutely no problem. So, but we want it to be 8 in this case, and we want to do a disk copy. So what we are going to do is to insert a virtual disk on the bottom there in device 9, which is the SD2IEC. So I'm gonna switch with the left arrow to the bottom there, and I have made a little favorites directory that we can load here. So I particularly like Mr. Haley there, Mr. Haley, because it was one of the games I had as an original back then. So here we are. We have pressed return on the C64 file we selected there with the arrow keys, the cursor keys they are. And now we have inserted the disk, so to say. So that is our disk that is inserted in number 9. Number 8, device number 8, is our empty real disk. So what we want to do now is to select disk copy there. Really? Yes. Device 9 to device 8. 8 is our real disk. Yes. So and now it starts spinning, and it reads the R and the W, you guessed it, writes. And it writes to the real disk. So this actually takes quite a while, so I think I want to speed it up slightly. So see you on the other side, let's say. Okay, so this really took a while. We're close to the end now. This method only works with standard D64 files, which are only 38 tracks. Yeah, now we finished copying virtual disk to the real disk, hopefully. Let's check. Press the key. So we should quit this and make it. So the changes should stay permanently. The device number changes. So we're now accessing our drive, our real drive, and there we are. There's our Mr. Heli. So there we are. And it should now start the game, I think. Oh, the sound is very bad because it's coming out of the speakers from this monitor at the moment, which is not ideal. Yeah, but as you can see, we have successfully copied the disc. Love the music. It's Jaron Tell and the Maniacs of Noise have made the music for this conversion of the arcade version, and it's really good. It doesn't do it justice now with these little speakers and stuff, but you should definitely, if you haven't tried this game, it's a nice game and the music is very, very great. Love it. Yeah, point proven. We copied a virtual disk to a real disk, and this also works for stuff that doesn't normally work with the SD2IEC, of course, because it uses some kind of weird fast loader or something like that. So if you have a game that doesn't load from SD2IEC, chances are quite good that it will work from a real floppy disk if you copy it across this way. So let's do it the other way around, I guess. So quite the same story, except for I'm loading draw copy again from the 9, which is still the SD2IEC. So what we are going to do is to insert, so to say, on our SD2IEC an empty disk. I made one using a Commodore 64 emulator, WinWise, which is a very popular one that just has a little, in the menu you can choose to create and insert a blank D64 file, which is a blank disk file. So I think I'll link in an empty file to download. If you don't know how this works, you can just download it from the video description there. And I just put an empty D64 file that I created there. Yeah, there we are. We have an empty D64 named Beta. Yeah, you probably guessed it. What we're going to do now is to insert a real disk into the disk drive, the 1541, and we should switch to the other one there. If you switch the focus, I don't know if you can see it, the colors are pretty hard to see. This is white basically, and it's the source if you select it. Source is number 9. In this case, the source should be number 8, and there should be our disk in there. If I press F1, yeah, there it is. And we want to do a disk copy from number 8 to number 9. It clearly says so, number 8 to number 9. And yes, we want to do so. And now it basically is the same procedure as last time. So I think I'm just gonna cut that and yeah, see you when it's finished. It takes around 10 minutes to copy a disk across either direction. So yeah, take your time, but it works. So let's see. Woohoo! So let's see. That is our device. 9 should be the virtual D64 file from the SD2IEC. Let's see what the directory is. Yeah, and there we are. So we have inserted this, and I will now show you that DRA copy or DRA copy, I'm still not sure, also works as a browser or one of those file browsers for the SD2IEC. Let's start WizBall and start stuff by just pressing F7. So let's do that with WizBall. And there's WizBall. And I won't even try to play it because I totally suck at WizBall. Never really played it back in the day. Shame on me, I know. But yeah, as you can see, it worked, and basically we can play WizBall that was on the real disk from the SD2IEC now. And that was the whole purpose of the experiment. So I hope that this video helps people who want to do the same, and I highly recommend getting a real drive. It's really fantastic. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to support me, you can click on the usual buttons and support me on Patreon or on PayPal. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something from this little tutorial thing, and use your Commodore 64 and enjoy using it even more. So thanks for watching. I'm Embita. See you next time. Bye. I'm just gonna leave it like that.